Hello, everyone. I'll be presenting to you on how to accelerate our emission goals using innovation in climate tech today. My name is Abhi, and I am the co-founder and managing director of Teknobuilt. We are a proud member of Greentown Labs in Houston and Urban Featured Labs in New York that are some of the leading climate tech ecosystems of the world. Teknobuilt is transforming the way energy, oil and gas, and infrastructure projects get delivered. Teknobuilt's platform has been used for carbon reduction and won several awards for that, including for new civil engineer and digital transformation over the years. Our executive team is well seasoned with some of the global experts renowned for advanced work processes in mega projects, oil and gas, energy, and infrastructure. My personal background is that of machine learning, automation, and risk in the capital markets. I studied at University of Chicago with a master's in financial mathematics. And with Teknobuilt, I have been on a different journey for the last 5 years, working in digital transformation and machine learning for industrial projects and the built environment. We are working with some of the leading companies of the world, from LNG mega projects to wind energy, urban infrastructure, and others globally. At Teknobuilt, our mission is to help the world create safe and sustainable infrastructure and energy that gets in better harmony with nature. One of the main reasons why we have been doing it is the built environment alone generates over 40% of the world's emission. And a lot of it is in the construction phase, but a lot also in operational and then in the industrial space. Right from the build process, there is tremendous wastages and delays. Over 80% of capital projects get delayed. With such a track record of the industry, we don't even know how long it will take us to clean up the energy grid. And all of these mess adds up to over $1.6 trillion estimated by McKinsey, just due to these delays and cost overruns. Most of these industries' grim figures are historically known, but you can ask, why do we need to solve it now? Is it just upcoming regulation? Maybe that's just one small reason. There are various macro and environmental factors in play as well. Right now, we are living in the largest wave of urban growth in human history. Over the next 2.5 decades, we will be building as much as what we have built in the last 100 years. There is an urgent need to solve the traditional sources of energy and comfort provided by the industry. The demand for energy, infrastructure, and industrialized products will go up exponentially. From the previous generation, we have lived a great life of comfort and industrialized connectivity. Over 2.5 billion people on the planet will continue to join this wave. People just want a level of comfortable lifestyle that the current times have provided us. We go to the shopping malls and stores to fulfill our needs, and we have modes of transport that take us wherever we want, whenever we want. But this comfort of rapid industrialization has come at a cost to this planet. If you look at what all industrial activities that are needed to be done to provide that comfort at our homes and our societies, it adds up to a lot of emissions happening in various activities, right from oil production to coal plants to industrial processes to transport. And this is all taking its toll on the planet that we live in. So where are we now? If you look at the CO2 level in the atmosphere, it has been the maximum level that the planet has seen for over 3 million years. The 420 parts per million is so high that the last time the planet had such high carbon levels, 1/3 of the land was underwater to what we see now. I would just want you all to take a deep breath right now because all is not lost, at least not yet. And if you believe that the battle with carbon is a journey worth taking, of leaving this planet in a much better position than we found it, then have a belief in yourself to navigate this journey, and there will surely be help on the way. I'm sure most of you would have seen the trilogy of Lord of the Rings, which tells us about the journey of a small hobbit who had to help in saving the Middle Earth from going into darkness. On this earth, though, many sectors will have a role to play if the world is to meet its climate change. Goals made right from the power generation to oil and gas to other industries and transport building. If we focus on the oil and gas sector, it contributes to over 42% of the global emissions. Out of these, 9% are scope 1 or scope 2, which is directly related to the activities of this industry. And around 33% is coming from the value chain, that is the end use of the products of the industry or the supply chain. It may seem like a pretty daunting task to reduce it and curb it. However, there has been so much progress in the climate tech space and the know-how of the processes within the oil and gas sectors that there is a good identification of current technologies that can address most of the emissions in this industry, right from the upstream to midstream and then the downstream processes. You have various possible solutions where emissions are quite high. For example, in the extraction and drilling, we could use better energy sources. Same during operations at downstream. If we start using more renewable sources like hydrogen, that helps us reduce the carbon at various stages. There is a carbon capture, usage, and storage where many interesting technical solutions are being worked on and piloted at various locations. Another aspect is reducing the leakages and losses during the upstream process, which is quite high. And we can use variety of machine learning and AI solutions to become more efficient, proactive, and predictive. Meaningful analytics are available to guide us through this journey. Right now, also, we are in a new era of climate tech innovation, where people are working on very interesting solutions to solve these problems. From the previous generation of climate tech that was in the early 2010s, now there is more maturity. The challenges now are more of how we scale good technical solutions rather than the technical challenges themselves, and how do we make it more cost efficient. What we require to navigate this mind space of solutions is maybe a systems approach rather than discrete solutions on this journey. And on this goal, if we have to accelerate the journey, then we have to be measured and diligent about the technological maturity of the solutions we are embarking and whether it's making an effect to the bottom line of carbon. Another interesting support is that of the economics of the solution. A lot of financial incentives could be worked out for integrating the solutions themselves. So how could a platform and a systems approach benefit in carbon management, right? First of all, the carbon parameters need to be measured right at the usage. You need to be able to estimate, measure, and forecast at an appropriate level of granularity for each scope of work or the process that is in question. We'll need to track the utilization of the assets that are in play, the equipments, and the outputs measurements of the processes. We have got technologies like IoT and other measures where we can figure out the supply chain for that particular granularity, use material tracking, and deploy high capacity early connections um, in the assets. So we can efficiently monitor, manage efficient plant usage. And once we are confident of the data we are deriving from this platform, we can even go to the level of enabling contractual obligations or get rewards for carbon emissions. For doing such an extensive platform work, we need to first convert all the analog processes to digital and be able to carbon track various parts of the entire value chain. And then this data is processed using machine learning and AI so that we are able to augment the intelligence of decision makers. Uh, Within this complexity of data, it is important to focus on the right data so that we are able to make timely decisions. Now, with this background, let's figure out the map of where we need to go on this journey of battling the carbon on this planet, on this Earth. For effective decision making, first we have to baseline our map. So, using a platform approach, we can have a realistic baseline, not just heuristic, that each key stage or process of the life cycle of the asset or the facility is taking. For example, in this particular identification by IEA, the 36% wastage has been identified to occur during the production of the upstream process. So this immediately becomes a key area as a priority for solving these leakages and wastage over this solution. Then some of the solutions would greatly help us focus on quick wins to accelerate and reach our goals. So we need to be scientific in our approach and be able to trust the data and identify the right parts of processes so we can measure the direction we are heading in and be confident that we are on the right path. This data has been traditionally hard to obtain and collate for the decision makers. If you look at the traditional asset lifecycle, going from the concept, design to engineering, procurement, construction, on-site execution, equipment, quality, safety, closeout, commissioning, operations of an asset, the information flow is very siloed. And we are not able to learn from various aspects of the assets to the different asset, which may be very similar. And something that might have been done at the engineering phase may not be done properly at the operations phase. There's a feedback missing during this life cycle. So we do not repeat the mistakes and wastages and rework that is rampant in this industry. And these traditional processes have their inherent challenges where mostly data is available or information is available in activity-based, which keeps changing all the time. And then there are siloed systems from where we need to extract the measurement that we need. There are a lot of offline workflows where we cannot fully measure what's going on, and there is data mismanagement. So between these challenges, we need to come up with the solutions to make an effective platform-based approach. One of the solutions we've tried is a digital construction block, where all the asset information, right from the design of carbon to all the materials going into the particular asset and how it's performing in the operations, is all aligned with digital blocks, which form a good layer to collaborate and measure and track the effectiveness of the asset block, the digital block within each life cycle. So we are able to align the information from engineering, procurement, pre-construction, installation, progress, completion, operations, and different stakeholders get a view on it. So using such a digital transformation, so analog and offline processes are converted into a real-time online processes, and then we are more confident and more realistic in navigating this journey. For such a platform to work, we will need to pull in data from various existing systems that are already there, like the ERP and the planning tools. And it is a complex project, but if we achieve such a digital transformation where data integration is accessible to everyone and there's a standardization of processes, we gain a lot of capital efficiencies. If you imagine just the leakages and wastages, they will not only help us save the carbon, but also save tremendous costs. And on this particular platform, we will be able to build carbon accounting and tracking at the right granular level. And we will be able to identify the areas of risk and improvement through this complex web of information. And this kind of platform approach we are talking about need not be very complex. In fact, simplicity of the usage will be crucial to wise decision making. For example, GeoMaps and Uber and other platforms have shown us how complex workflows can be simplified on decision making and contracting even. So such a platform also needs to work for various assets and projects from offshore to onshore to renewable energy, where we are able to comprehend and track the entire value chain holistically. And we will immediately understand whether we are on the right path, on what course corrections are needed, because it is a journey and we will be going through various phases of it. The carbon parameters in this journey will need to be comprehensively measured at the right times. Now, add to it the latest technologies of like IoT, where the equipment themselves or assets have a lot of information that are pre-built, and this information could be taken out at the right level and help us measure the gaps in that is needed and aggregate and make wise decision. If you look at this combination of man and machine data and devices on a common platform, it will really help us identify the carbon usage at the right granularity level and provide us the confidence to accelerate on our journey. The relevant key performance indicators and dashboards at the right granular level will help us measure the effectiveness of the solutions we are trialing, the pilots that we are doing, and then we will have a map of the journey that we need to get on. After establishing a baseline and a platform approach, let's talk about the boosters that are needed on this journey. These are the innovation in climate tech. I would say we are very fortunate to live in this time where there is a greater sensitivity and urgency to build niche solutions for optimizing various supply chains of the ecosystem. For example, climate tech innovation is happening in various stages of the overall industry. So whether it's renewable energy, where solar and offshore wind are becoming a part of cleaning up the grid, hydrogen is seeing a key component of the oil and gas space. Energy storage is getting cheaper and cheaper, and effective oil and gas transmission solutions are also experiencing innovation. In fact, this journey to meet the mission goal need not cost money all the time, because we know companies and solutions like Canon Energy, which do waste to power solutions. So the wastage that's happening in the industry is converted to power and ends up being a net cash flow positive while saving carbon. We are seeing very interesting solutions of IoT applications and information technology to do predictive maintenance, provide intelligence that was not possible before. There is interesting innovation in the materials that is happening throughout the industry and the built environment. What are some of the solutions there might still be missing in these early phases? But there is increasing collaboration between various players of the ecosystem to meaningfully mature, search, and help uplift the skill. If we have a digital first approach and a platform based approach, that will help us to embrace such innovation with confidence. Now, let's see, even in the oil and gas industry, the carbon intensity reduction becoming a reality is a possibility due to the usage of various potential mechanisms. If you look at the current emissions in upstream, midstream, and downstream, and we look at working on efficiencies in solutions for overall efficiency, emission management, carbon capture and storage, renewable energy, and appropriate use of hydrogen where there is a potential to, then we are able to say that we will be able to dramatically reduce the carbon emissions even from the most emitting industry in this world. And coming back to the economics of carbon capture, utilization, and storage solution, they have traditionally been less compelling, but I'm pleased to say that very recently in the US, the business case for carbon capture, utilization, and storage solutions has turned cash flow positive thanks to government incentives. And there will be technological and commercial challenges for each of the solution. However, only by trying and monitoring and learning from pilots and early phases, we'll be able to make these solutions scalable. There is an increasing need to capitalize on the partnership models with climate tech ecosystems and industry alliances, digital partnerships, industry clusters. Some of the prime example being Greentown Labs, where we are hosted very niche climate tech companies and get good support from major industrial players in the region. While it's not completely possible to eliminate all the carbon emissions in this particular industry, it is possible to reduce it dramatically to say 90%. And then the next 10%, we will be able to be credibly offset with carbon positive assets. There is a lot of innovation happening in the carbon offset market as well, where the whole credibility of the system is being built by various players using innovative technology like blockchain to verify and accredit reporting mechanisms and collaboration globally. Remember, the fight will only be won if we are able to get to that net zero. And only then we will be able to bring the planet to a stage where it can regenerate itself and restore some of the equilibrium on this planet. Now, we are the only generation that can do something about it. The previous ones were unaware of the scale of the issues. And for the next generation, it will be too late. However, the history of humankind has shown us that whenever someone makes a determination to fight the darkness, there is help along the way. And the biggest fuel is the human perseverance to change the face of the planet we live in. I hope you've got some confidence on how to accelerate reaching the climate goals on this journey of innovative climate tech. I wish you all the best. If you need to reach out to me, my contact is mentioned below. Have a good rest of the day and sessions. Thank you so much.